So I know this video is going to be made a little late as I've already finished Gintama 2017 already, but I feel like some of you guys would like to hear my thoughts on this arc as well. Also, if you want to see where I'm up to on the series, follow my Twitter as I usually tell my reactions as I go through Gintama. But right now, let's talk about the Farewell Shinsengumi arc. This arc is one that I could label as the top 1 shonen arc, right next to the arc we got before this one. They're both insanely amazing arcs that execute the story in different ways, yet they're equally my number 1. It's crazy how Gintama has 3 10-10 arcs in a row, the third one of course being Rakuyo, and I'm expecting more greatness in Silver Soul. But right before I get into this video, subscribe if you haven't, hit the like button, turn on bell notifications, and follow my Twitter down below. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, this arc perfectly met up with my expectations. People had said it was even better than the Shogun assassination arc, and I can see it being better in some ways, especially that ending, but I still hold them equally because of that amazing fight between Gintoki and Takasugi. So this arc focuses on the Shinsengumi, who as a cast holds some of my favorite characters, especially Hijikata, who's my second favorite Gintama character. It also lets us see the outcome of the unfortunate death of the Shogun, which gives rise to the new one, Nobunobu. The way the arc starts off was made so well. The episode being the day the demon cried gave us the results of the Shinsengumi not being able to prevent the Shogun's death, with Kondo the commander having to face the ordeal of waiting for his said execution, as well as the Shinsengumi having to disband and close their headquarters, leaving them to find other jobs, while also leaving all of them being devastated yet desperate to want to try and save Kondo. But with the new Shogun of Edo being who he is, the Shinsengumi are powerless. It's a sorrowful beginning which makes us feel for the Shinsengumi who have been with us for hundreds of episodes. The way the entire group ended just like that felt abrupt but understandable story-wise. Kondo also knew that the outcome would be this way, but with Hijikata and the rest of the Shinsengumi being powerless to prevent that outcome, it hit really hard. And finally, in the ending of the first episode, we get to see the demon vice commander, who had rarely cried in the series, let out his tears as he observed the now closed down Shinsengumi building, a place he had disciplined his juniors, angrily called out his stalker commander, fought with his sadistic underling, and embraced the home he, the demon, had thought he had belonged to. And now that's all gone. In the end, he gave us a Roy Mustang, saying how it's raining while his tears flowed down from his tired eyes. This was one of my favorite beginnings to an arc ever. It perfectly sets up the atmosphere while giving us a solid continuation of the story from the last arc. I really enjoyed Kondo's character in this first episode as well, with him actually becoming one of my favorites in Gintama by the end of the arc. The way the beginning also conveys how bland and boring the world of Gintama is without the involvement of the Shinsengumi, just let us know how special this group is to the series. As well as having Nobunobu being the new shogun, which makes Edo feel a lot more oppressed and the people having not that much freedom. Putting them in unwanted shackles is how I would put it when a strict ruler rises up. Following on from the beginning episodes being the setup of the arc, we get to see the most unexpected thing to come in Gintama, and I loved it. The disbanded Shinsengumi coming together again and Katsuro's group joining forces with them to save their commanders who are currently held in prison. This shocked me so much, so it easily made me jump out of my seat. But right before the team up, the part where the Shinsengumi are all lined up and waiting for their vice commander instantly made this arc, for me, at that point become a 10. I straight up lifted my finger at the screen and just shook my head saying that this arc was a 10 already. It felt so amazing seeing the scenery of the Shinsengumi like this, including Sugo, who had also been seen to hate Hijikata, but there he was, waiting for his vice commander and ready to follow his orders. The feeling was good, but it also made me so hyped up to see where the story would go next, which would of course be the eventual Katsura team up. Now the raid on the prison was way too exciting. We got Oddjobs, the Shinsengumi and Katsura's terrorist crew teaming up all together at once. What more could you want in an event like this? Also, the Gintoki and Hijikata team up came back once again with my favorite opening playing alongside them. This was just perfection, wow. As everyone came together to take on the Tenshuin, we got to see their trust-filled relationships shine, with it showing some amazing dynamics as well as showing great moments side by side. The animation, I have to say, has been great. Both the Shogun Assassination and Farewell Shinsengumi arcs have gotten some solid animation going along with these serious arcs, and I can say it deserved it, with the story being top notch in each of these arcs. Now, something that really surprised me in this arc came towards a conclusion. The introduction of the overpowered and terrifying mastermind being Utsuro was something that definitely surprised me in this arc. Utsuro felt like he was above everything, not just in skill but in presence as well. He really felt like the final boss, and after finishing Rakio, I now know that he's gonna be that final boss, and I can say he has been such an interesting character. Utsuro in Farewell Shinsengumi was an actual menace. He scared even Sugo and took on multiple strong characters at once. Then the eventual reveal of him being somehow related to Yoshida Shoyo came, surprising the viewers and the characters of Gintama, especially Gintoki, who had freezed at the sight of his teacher swinging his sword at him. "Your sword can't reach me." That part hit me everywhere, severely, with the soft music playing as Shoyo's voice gives Gintoki sudden nostalgia. It was an emotional scene where Gintoki would then need his friends that are here now to help him out, letting them snap him back into reality, the reality where he killed Shoyo, in a reality that would make it seem impossible that his sensei could return alive in front of him, clashing blades. But unfortunately for Gintoki, the man named Utsuro had taken over Shoyo and now lives to conquer. This moment is still one of my favorites in Gintama easily. Now, there are quite a few characters that I can see that deserve the highlights of the arc, but coming down to at least one character that just grew to be amazing, I have to talk about them. Isaburo Sasaki. Isaburo had interested me, especially his unclear motives that were a mystery to me until I came to this arc. His motives finally being revealed shocked me on so many levels because I never expected him to try and achieve something so extreme. The end of the samurai era. He had searched for people who looked worthy enough to start a revolution against the higher-ups of Edo, and he did, with them being the Shinsengumi. His relationship with the Shinsengumi was very interesting. Seeing the flashbacks, we see Isaburo actually admiring Kondo, as he was able to get a group of people and make a police force out of them, which intrigued Isaburo a lot. From then on, he would come to realize that Kondo could be trusted with tough things, which would result in him giving his brother to them, as he knows the Shinsengumi would protect him. In Farewell Shinsengumi, we also see him protecting Kondo, showing how much Isaburo knows that Kondo and the Shinsengumi should survive. His other relationship with Nobume was something special as well, the girl who had killed his family, or so he thought. But even then, thinking that Nobume had been the one who murdered his family, he took her in, and she became the only person left in his address book, and the last person he would send an email to. Saburo's death will be something I'll never forget. It's a death that really felt impactful, and with the whole moment using the scenes of him trying to find a name for his daughter made me frozen. It just did. Nobume, meaning girl of faith, one who he trusts to grow up strong. The name he had chosen for his daughter and the name he had given to the closest person in his life. Isaburo's sacrifice was amazing and definitely one of the largest highlights of why this arc was a 10 out of 10. Now, the ending of the Farewell Shinsengumi arc became my favorite arc conclusion in Gintama and one of my favorites in anime. The Shinsengumi now have to leave Edo. Having fought against the Edo high-ups, they have no place to stay, so they must leave, but this doesn't mean it's the end of the Shinsengumi themselves. Before parting ways, the characters say their final farewells, with Gintoki and Hijikata finally laughing side by side one another, Kagura and Sugo battling against each other one last time, and Kondo finally being accepted into the Shimura household. This ending was perfect and filled with hopeful emotions, which really is the opposite of what the arc had started out to be. The Farewell Shinsengumi arc was just the greatest all the way through. It's gonna be that arc that I'll find myself watching every now and then, as well as loving every minute of it. So that's where I'm gonna end off for today. Hopefully you did enjoy, and if you did, make sure to put down some more Gintama related ideas or just normal video ideas in general. Also, thanks so much for 2,000 subscribers. Let's keep moving higher on the channel. But like always, subscribe if you haven't, hit the like button, turn on bell notifications, and follow my Twitter down below. It's been Endless Requiem, peace.